Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be talking about the Dark Knight trilogy. I wanted to break it down and discuss with you guys, do a video talking about which villain is my favorite from the Dark Knight trilogy of films. And specifically, the two that I want to compare the most would be Heath Ledger's Joker against Tom Hardy's Bane. Now, this will contain spoilers for people who have not seen The Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, you don't want to watch this because I may spoil some things for you in the storyline of the plot with regards to Bane. Now, the reason why I just really picked those two is because when you break it down, the other villains, I don't know, they just really can't hold a candle to those two, I think. If you look at Harvey Dent, of course, from The Dark Knight, I mean, he was a good guy for most of the film and then becomes bad after what happens to Rachel, which I think is natural, but at the same time, I wouldn't put him, he's not the type. I don't think many people would like him more than the Joker or Bane or any of these other characters. He's kind of a casualty of the movie. He's got that the irony about how he was the White Knight and then falls to succumb to the Joker's influence and what happens to Rachel. And he's just not the type of character that I think anybody would really say is their favorite villain from the trilogy. Likewise, in the first movie, Batman Begins, we have Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. Now, out of the two, I prefer Ra's al Ghul. I think he's probably the cooler villain in that movie because he's sort of the big bad, so to speak. Scarecrow is sort of like his henchman, so inside of Gotham. Now, I do think that Scarecrow is a cool character. I just think that he wasn't really utilized that much. I mean, he fought Batman once, really. Later on, gets tased by Rachel, which was I don't know, whatever. Well, I guess you could say he fought him twice because he does, but he kind of just calls the police. So that was interesting too. But anyway, he was a cool character. But out of the two in Batman Begins, I'd have to say Ra's was the coolest. And I don't think Ra's can really hold a candle to the Joker or Bane. So in terms of the others, they can be ruled out. Catwoman is not really a villain. She's kind of, half and half. She goes back and forth, so to speak. So really, for me, in terms of my favorite villain of the trilogy, it comes down to Heath Ledger's Joker against Tom Hardy's Bane. Now, the thing about Bane throughout most of the movie, I think that when I was watching it, I was like, damn, this is really good. He's got some really good lines in the movie. Really thought-provoking, interesting things that he says that really question, the way he looks at society and capitalism. Probably one of my favorites when Daggett is talking to him and yelling at him because the plan against Bruce didn't work. Well, it sort of worked, but not the way Daggett wanted it to. And he tells the Asian henchman, so to speak, to go out in the hallway, and then or to stay. And then Bane tells him to go, and the guy goes. And then he tells Bane that, or he tells the other guy that he's in charge. And then Bane like puts his hand like on his shoulder like this, and then says, "Do you feel like you're in charge?" And then Daggett basically tells him that he's paid him all this money, paid you all this money, yada yada yada. And then I love Tom Hardy's expression. He kind of looks at him like he's crazy, and this gives you power over me. I don't know why. For some reason, I absolutely love just that whole scene. I think about that quite a bit. You pay me, so you think that gives you power over me? It's because to Bane, capitalism is like a foreign thing. It's like it doesn't make sense to him. He thinks it's nuts. So but that's a common thing right there. If I pay you, then I have power over you. That's in North America, I mean, that's pretty much the way things go. If you work for somebody, they pay you, then they kind of in that way have power over you. I think it was just a really cool line, and the way his eyes move too, because obviously when he's delivering it, he can't move his mouth. But I just think his expression there for that scene, that his appearance in that scene was just cool. Just overall. And speak of the devil and he shall appear. That was just really cool. The part that I think, and not only that scene, there's so many different scenes, that Bane has that are really cool liners, like where he says, when Gotham is ashes, then you have my permission to die, as well as so many others. But I think the biggest thing about Bane, a lot of people have mentioned this, even my girlfriend noticed this. She's like, because at the end, Talia al Ghul, basically shows herself, right? Or shows her true colors, so to speak. And Bane is kind of turned into a henchman, so to speak. Now, a lot of people have said online, well, yeah, but he's partnered with her. He's in love with her or whatever, but he's not, they're more like partners. He is the League of Shadows, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, But then right after that, I forget exactly what Talia says, but she tells Bane to do something. Like she gives him an order, and then she leaves. And I was like thinking to myself, what the hell? Like, all throughout the movie, we think that Bane is the top dog. He's the one who's in charge. He's the one who's making the decisions. And then you have this, this 130-pound chick telling him what to do. And I'm just like, man, the Joker would never go for that. Not even close. So that to me was like, I think if it wasn't for that scene, this would be a lot closer of a discussion. But what that scene does, and the fact that Bane just, like, listens to her or whatever, and it just, the way the story turns at the end there, where it kind of shows that he's actually not really completely in charge. I mean, maybe halfway at best, but more like probably 30-40% in terms of in charge, and he really is. He really does listen to her. So she's really the big bad. She's really the one in charge. That, to me, I was like, oh, man, that sucks. Oh, man, just really ruins the character of Bane for me in a lot of ways. So right off of that, of course, the Joker, he doesn't take shit from anybody. He does not listen to anyone. Nobody tells the Joker what to do. For example, the scene where he's got the Russian, and then he tells him, tell your men they work for me now. This is my city. So many others that Heath Ledger has in that movie that he delivers so brilliantly. In terms of Bane, I don't really have anything much else to say about Bane. He's got a lot of really cool lines. Most of them are really good. I think that his speech outside of Blackgate Prison is pretty cool too, although his eyes and his mouth don't always seem to match up for me in that scene, that particular scene. The rest of them are pretty good. Even the intro in the beginning is really good. But definitely my favorite is when he's talking to Daggett and he tells him, like, he's so confused. He's like, this gives you power over me? But other than that, I mean, I think that's probably his, his coolest parts. Of course, he is a physical, threat. And if he was by himself, though, without the help of Talia, I don't know if he would have been as big of a threat. I don't know if he would, like, the Joker was a huge threat. And he was just by himself, basically. I mean, there was nobody on his team. There was no League of Shadows. There was no... He was 100% on, by himself. Also, Bane's plan is not even really Bane's plan. It seems more like it's Talia's plan. And Bane is just, a part of that. So, just going based on that, and also, to add to it, of course, the amazing performance by Heath Ledger. All the crazy things the Joker says in The Dark Knight and does. The way he twists Harvey. And everything that happens with that. I got to go with Heath Ledger's Joker as being the best villain in the Dark Knight trilogy. Bane a close second, and then I'd have to go with probably Ra's. After that, I guess Scarecrow, and then maybe Talia or Harvey. I don't know. Maybe Two-Face and then Talia at the end, because I think in terms of being a villain, I mean, it was cool to have the twist, but it kind of ruins Bane as a character, makes him a henchman. The Joker's not a henchman for anybody. So in terms of this one, who was the coolest villain in the series? Heath Ledger's Joker was for me. Let me know what you guys thought about it. The Joker versus Bane. Which do you think was cooler and why? Which did you enjoy more and why? Or maybe did you enjoy one of the others? Did you like Scarecrow more? I mean, I don't know if anybody would, but let's talk about it, guys. That's it for this video. See you for the next one, guys. Peace.